Up yours, woke moralists. We'll see who cancels who.
My anus is bleeding!
He can't sit down.
They call them dumps, big massive dumps.
Got a flame coming out of his butthole.
Beta male.
Get in a long tube with a bunch of demons.
Don't you ever do that. Don't you ever do that. I tell you don't do it.
Oops.
We're under attack. It is an alien force, not of this world. It's not human intelligence.
Bullshit.
Trust me, I'm like a smart person.
Bullshit.
It's not a salami sandwich.
Disappointed!
Repeat the line.
Disappointed!
How you like that, boy?
No.
Give me a break.
Stop it.
Fired.
Fired! Fired!
Bitch, move it along.
Now witness the firepower of this fully armed and operational battle station.
They want to make you drink Starbucks every day from now until forever.
The nation. Waldorf Nation. What's up, everybody? It's Tuesday. Welcome to the show. We got a good one for you. We're gonna have, of course, some ghouls. The usual, some of the usual mix. We have Tucker Carlson, in his propaganda video. We're gonna talk about a little bit of that. We also are going to talk about, fellas, does tap water make you gay? Oh, it's a question that one right-winger has answered. We're going to get to that. Just the absolute ridiculousness of the whole thing.
I don't like them putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay.
Oh my God.
It's the devil, okay?
It is. It's the devil. And he's making the frogs gay with the water. I'm not kidding. We're going to get to that segment, and it's going to be amazing.
We have to keep our country gay.
Can't let that happen.
All right. So, yeah, it's one of those days. Also, Arkansas Republicans, well, they just passed a child labor bill for more child labor, not against it. So, we're going to look at the irony about that. Apparently, children under 14, not old enough to decide, whether or not they're transgender, okay, and can get gender-affirming care, but apparently old enough to go into the mines and work. Or in the slaughterhouses, perhaps. Just an amazing group of just horrifying stories. That's what we have today. Also, Texas. Well, they're being Texas. So we'll get to that and how net neutrality could stop it. Oh, interesting. All right. So, like I said, we're going to have fun today covering the usual ghouls and goblins and terrible people overall. But first, before we get to that, please like and share the stream. Very important that you do so. Of course, it helps us out greatly. With that, oh, by the way, I do want to address yesterday. What happened at the end of the show? I just want to thank Left Flank Vets for the raid on Twitch, which was hilarious because we were just going to raid into Left Flank Vets. But thank you for the raid anyway. I do appreciate it. It was just weird timing. That's happened before. Weird timing, but I appreciate it. Thank you. And for those of you who are watching, who followed the channel on Twitch because of the raid yesterday and have come in to watch, welcome. It's gonna be a great show. Okay. With that, yeah, let's do it. Hold on. All right. Yes! Okay. Now we're good. Let's see. Ooh. There we go. Oof. Fox host Tucker Carlson has dropped his first bombshell from the January 6th security footage that was handed over to him by Representative Kevin McCarthy, his House leader, Kevin McCarthy. So now we're gonna watch a little bit of his reporting, and then we'll get to I guess rebutting it. But let's take a look first.
When the committee wasn't accusing Republican office holders of planning riots on January 6th, it was accusing them of running away from those riots like cowards. In the case of Senator Josh Hawley of Missouri, the committee and their allies accused him of both.
Josh Hawley is a...
To prove that Josh Hawley was a coward, the committee released video of him loping out of the building on the afternoon of January 6th with a police escort. The tape became a staple on social media. Democrats laughed with derision.
Later that day, Senator Hawley fled after those protesters he helped to rile up stormed the Capitol. See for yourself.
But in fact, the surveillance footage we reviewed shows that famous clip was a sham, edited deceptively by the January 6th committee. The clip was propaganda, not evidence. The actual videotape shows that Hawley was one of many lawmakers being ushered out of the building by Capitol Hill police officers. And in fact, Hawley was at the back of the pack. The coward tape was a lie, one of many from the January 6th committee.
Wait, he was still running out the building. How does that prove your point? Wow. All right. So again, as expected, Tucker Carlson delivers what can be described as a hot, steaming pile of bullshit. Of course. So let's look at the argument. Let's get into it. So because other lawmakers were also leaving the Capitol building, which again we knew was the case because there was a literal MAGA mob outside. Somehow, the fact that other lawmakers also left and that Hawley was lagging behind and maybe that's why he was hauling ass, that somehow shows that he wasn't afraid or wasn't a coward or what are you proving? What are you trying to prove, Tucker Carlson? I mean, this is ridiculous. How does this prove that the video is a lie? Look, this doesn't make, none of this makes any Hawley any less of a hypocrite for what he actually did was egging on the crowd outside and then getting out of its way when the crowd turned on Congress, the Capitol building. Jesus. I mean, but you understand. He's saying that it was deceptively edited to show that Josh Hawley was a coward. Funny how you should talk about, deceptively editing things. Because, Tucker Carlson, not only, of course, did he, was the network shown to have been lying about election fraud, been proven to be lying about election fraud in their coverage, about the 2020 election overall. But Tucker Carlson heaps praise on Project Veritas, who has been shown to deceptively edit videos all the time, catfishing people. I mean, again, it's ridiculous. But okay, sure. They deceptively edited this video. Oh, really? Did they deep fake him running? Is that what happened? Well, the video left out the other lawmakers, the fact that they were leaving. But we already knew that they were leaving. Everybody was leaving. Nobody claimed that Josh Hawley was the only person that was trying to get out of the Capitol. Everybody was trying to get out of the Capitol. No, the issue here is Josh Hawley talking tough, like a badass. But as soon as his personal safety was possibly at risk, time to go. Time to get out of here. Ooh, no, the leopards are going to eat my face. No. And by the way, Josh Hawley, you didn't have to go with the Capitol Police. You could have stayed there. Why did you leave? Why did you leave with the other lawmakers? Why didn't you stay if you weren't scared, if they weren't a threat? I mean, answer that question. No, he can't. He can't. By the way, look, I'm not saying that, none of these lawmakers, on the Republican side, shouldn't have been concerned with their safety. No, I'm saying they should have been concerned with their safety. These people were chanting, "Hang Mike Pence." So, yes, I understand that they felt threatened. But again, these are the same people that went after AOC for also being afraid that day. And the Democrats for being afraid. Again, the issue here is the hypocrisy. As expected, Tucker Carlson taking these videos and trying to do essentially what is a rewrite to cast the January 6th committee in a bad light, and their findings, more specifically, right, is not at all a surprise. We knew this was coming. Attacking the committee, providing cover for people who incited the mob to begin with. And look, to show you an example of this, former President Donald Trump went on Truth Social. Here's what he said. He said the Unselect Committee lied. About what? About Josh Hawley leaving the building? He left the building. What? Seriously? He left the building. What's the lie about that? But then Trump added, they should be prosecuted for their action. Prosecuted. And said Nancy and Mitch were a disaster on security. No, they didn't control the Capitol Police. They didn't issue any of the stand-down orders or anything that, Tucker Carlson had claimed that they were doing. And then he went on to thank Kevin and Tucker, saying, free at last. Free for what? Free from what? What argument are you even making, Tucker Carlson? Apparently, it's an argument that's going to resonate with MAGA supporters. And so I guess mission accomplished, even though it proved absolutely nothing. Well done. There it is. Tucker Carlson doing propaganda, rewriting the events of January 6th on the largest cable news network in the country. And is doing so to run cover for wannabe authoritarians. Congratulations. Right. They didn't actually leave the Capitol building. They went in hidden secure areas. That's a little correction there. But they certainly left the area of which the mob was trying to break into. They left the, the hall. Right. Anyway. Let's move on. former first daughter Ivanka Trump might have just thrown the rest of her family under the bus. Now, this is related to the fraud lawsuit against the Trump organization and the Trump family. Bloomberg News correspondent Eric Larson reported that Trump had joined her father, that's Ivanka Trump, joining her father and her brothers, and asking for a delay of this fraud trial. So this is the one trial that has been, the one case that has been filed by New York Attorney General Letitia James, who had filed a $250 million civil lawsuit against them, the organization, for fraud. So now look, they had all asked for this delay to push the trial from October 2nd to deeper into the 2024 presidential campaign. Now they say, look, we need more time. There is so much evidence that, we've been presented with, we have to go through we have to go through all this evidence and then present a legal defense. We just don't have time to do that. Really? You don't have time to do that? Huh, interesting. Now, Ivanka, however, she had offered a different reason for her desire to delay the trial. According to Larson, Ivanka's lawyers argued that the case is not simple because she had left the Trump organization back in 2017 and because she has not been accused of lying about the company's finances. The complaint, said the lawyer, in a court filing this week, does not contain a single allegation that Ms. Trump directly or indirectly created, prepared, reviewed, or certified any of her father's financial statements. The document alleges that, this is the best part, other individuals were responsible for those tasks. So what she is doing is the shaggy defense. It wasn't me. Oh, great. Okay. Hey, look, there's a possibility that, of course, that she wasn't involved in any way, shape, or form and had no knowledge of this. Yeah, of course. That said, she was part of the company, and that's, important because if she did have knowledge of the scheme to defraud, and that's, of course, devaluing her assets when it comes to, the company's assets, I should say, when it comes to taxes, and then inflating the assets in order to get loans for the company. If she had knowledge of that scheme and didn't do anything about it and benefited financially from the company, well, then she would be part of that scheme, even though she didn't actually actively take part in the fudging of documents or alleged fudging of documents, but had knowledge of it. Well, again, that makes her an accomplice, right? Look, I could be wrong here, but I do think that her reason for trying to delay is saying, look, not only do I agree with my family that they need time to craft a defense, but also, look, I don't want to testify under oath because I'm not involved. Oh no. And look, if she ends up having to testify under oath, being compelled to do so, well, she couldn't lie because, again, this is under oath. And that's, again, assuming that she did have some knowledge of the scheme going on, even if not being directly involved. Again, I don't know. She might not have had any knowledge of this at all. She could be a know-nothing, and that honestly wouldn't surprise me. Either way, she wouldn't want to get involved with the I guess, penalties of the civil trial because they would be very significant to her business. Aside from the potential $250 million penalty towards the company, she and her family could be barred from doing business in New York, which happens to be a pretty big place to do business in. So it would be a problem for her as well as possibly Jared Kushner. So if she is throwing everyone else under the bus to protect herself, that would be a Trump thing to do and would make sense. Again, I don't know the details. Now, the last thing here that I want to mention is the delay. So we know what the lawyers are saying. Okay. We need more time to go through this mountain of evidence against us. I think there's a political motive at play. I think that they wanted this to happen deep into the election season to make an argument that this was political. And just happened to coincide with, the election, even though this was filed actually back in September of 2022, 2 months before Trump announced his 2024 campaign. Look, maybe that's a coincidence. I don't know. Maybe he's hoping his followers won't notice. Maybe they won't care. Or maybe Trump will also try to turn this into a fundraising campaign in the middle of his Republican primary. I don't know. If this sounds like too smart of a strategy for Trump, I'd actually disagree because, remember, Trump's really smart at one thing. Making elaborate con jobs and taking money from his followers. Okay. So there you go. Now Georgia Republicans are trying to sabotage Fannie Willis. Yes. Trying to go after prosecutors for prosecuting. Interesting. All right, so with that, why don't we move on to the next story here? Story's insane. Fellas, does tap water make you gay? Well, according to Florida pastor Ron Perry, the answer is a resounding yes! Now, look, crazy homophobic pastors, they're not exactly a surprise to see here in America, especially in places like Florida, where they seem to have a lot of crazy homophobic, just a lot of things. But Perry, what makes him different than the rest of the insane homophobic pastors is that he has been specifically tapped by the governor of Florida for a pretty important job. So now Perry is one of 5 DeSantis employees who now sit on the board of the Reedy Creek Improvement District, which governs the 25,000 acres around Disney. So now DeSantis had stripped Disney of its control of this special tax district after the then chairman had opposed Florida's Don't Say Gay law. So now, according to a CNN report, getting back to Perry, he has shared video discussions on YouTube about his views on homosexuality, including, yes, the idea that tap water turns people and animals gay. You may remember this from Alex Jones.
I don't like them putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay.
Well, apparently, this guy looked at Alex Jones and said, yeah, I agree with that. This guy knows what he's talking about. It's no longer just the frogs, everyone. No longer just the frogs. Now, funny enough, I went in the research for the story. I went to go and see some of these videos, and no surprise, they were scrubbed from the internet. That video no longer exists on YouTube. Weird, but don't worry. I still have some of his comments on video, courtesy of CNN's K-File. Let's take a look.
So, why are there homosexuals today? There are any number of reasons, that are given. Some would say the increase in estrogen in our societies. There's estrogen in the water from from birth control pills. They can't get it out.
They can't get it out. It's the birth control. It's in the water. Look at the estrogen. And you know what's going to happen?
We have to keep our country gay.
That's what's going to happen. We're going to keep our country gay. Wow.
Can't let that happen.
Wow. Hey, no, look, I got news for you, Perry. It ain't the water making people gay, okay? Gay people have existed. Well, they've always existed in every society, in every place around the world. The gay has always been here. It's not from drinking birth control laced tap water. It's just insanity. Insanity. These people are obsessed. They're obsessed with this stuff. Nobody thinks about gay people more than these homophobic pastors, than bigots. Gay people don't think about gay people that much. Not as much as they do. These homophobic pastors, they're obsessed. They're obsessed. Now, Perry has also made some other claims. The gay is caused by the decrease in the levels of testosterone. Did you know that the levels of testosterone in America, men have declined by 50 points just in the last 10 years? That's why they're no longer men. That's why men are becoming women, they're becoming trans, they're becoming gay. Oh my God. All the things that he secretly, allegedly, thinks a lot about and perhaps prefers. I don't know if that's the case. I don't know if that's true. I'm just speculating. You know what I'm saying? Now, of course, on his claims about testosterone levels dropping by 50 points. No. Has there been a decrease? Yes. That's science. Yes, science have noticed a small dip in testosterone levels. Okay. But again, not by 50 points. And again, does that even matter? No, not when it comes to orientation. It doesn't affect sexual orientation. Lower testosterone does not make you gay. High estrogen does not make you gay. It doesn't have anything to do with orientation. Nothing. But then, look, again, there's no evidence to show any of that. But look, he then later goes on in another video to talk about what we need to do. Because what led us to this place and to begin with, and it's not just the water, it's society.
But the big part I would suggest to you, based upon what it's saying here, is the removal of constraint. Well, you remove the constraints, and then evil occurs.
The evil occurs. Did you know the evil that he's referring to is two consenting adults of the same sex that happen to love each other and live their lives together? Whoa, evil! Where's the evil? No, the evil is trying to stop consenting adults from living their lives that don't harm anyone else. That's the evil. Now, look, he's made a whole bunch of other really ignorant, bigoted statements. For example, claiming that LGBTQ plus people do not have a stake in the future because they don't have children. They don't have children. They can't have children. In another video, Perry claimed that the acceptance of homosexuality in society was responsible for the fall of the Roman Empire. So there's that whole thing. Oh, did you know the Romans, they practiced the man love? And that's why. Okay, no. So here's the thing. The Roman Empire had lasted for quite some time. So there's pretty long history. Now, at the time of the fall, homosexuality was actually outlawed. But here's what he said, quote, homosexuality was praised, and so ultimately, the Romans, they had become weak. Actually, according to historians, there were a lot of different reasons that the Roman Empire had become weak. And so, funny enough, one of them happens to have been drought, climate change. So interesting, right? Now, that drought had brought or had been believed to have brought some of the barbarian tribes closer and closer to the borders of the Roman Empire. And of course, a lot of the incursions from these barbarian tribes eventually led, of course, to the sacking of Rome and things like that. So another thing that weakened it from within, however, was political corruption, an increase in wealth and income inequality, more wealth at the top, alongside of a decrease in taxation on the wealthy, with little left, of course, for the rest. Very little spending on public works. In fact, no spending on public works unless it came from the wealthy doing private restorations of things like temples. A lot of the taxation that was levied actually led to the support of the military. So you had massive amounts of military spending, but very little public works. In fact, one historian, a Roman historian, soldier as well, named Ammianus Marcellinus, he said that Rome was saved by her austerity, by solidarity between rich and poor, by contempt for death, now is undone by her luxury and greed. Interesting. Luxury and greed. Weird. Saying the innumerable are the statements of church fathers that stigmatize the immorality of both the nobles and the poor. Salvanius backs up Ammianus by affirming that greed was a vice common to nearly all Romans. You also had crumbling infrastructure, lead poisoning, drinking water, invasions from outside forces, civil wars, infighting, political corruption, including religious infighting. There are numerous factors here that led to the end of the Roman Empire. None of them were the gay. It just wasn't the gay. And again, as I had mentioned, at the time of the fall, the Roman Empire had adopted Christianity as their official religion, and again had outlawed Christianity. In fact, in 390 CE, the emperors Justinian and Theodosius had made homosexual acts unlawful in general. Theodosius banned observation of former Roman religions, which were polytheistic, and made Christianity the only state religion. Weird. Now, if anything, what the right wing wants to do to this country, to America right now, to adopt Christianity as its official state religion, to ban homosexuality, to encourage political corruption in the form of campaign contributions, wealth, to increase the level of wealth inequality in this country by not trying to fix our broken infrastructure, allowing lead in the water in places like Flint is one example. Not giving a damn about climate change. We have cities in the desert that are currently running out of water. They don't have any water. They have to ship water in from other places. Weird. It's almost as if there are some disturbing parallels between what the right wing and deregulation has been doing to this country and the fall of the Roman Empire. Now, I'm not saying we're going to fall like the Roman Empire, but holy crap. And yet you have right-wingers like Marjorie Taylor Greene that are talking about having a national divorce to break up the country. Do you know that the Roman Empire in its latter existence had been broken up into the Western and Eastern empires? That's how there was two emperors before the fall. And it actually had been the Western Empire to have fallen, whereas the Eastern had still existed. Weird. And so look, maybe these people ought to look up some actual history instead of, being incredibly ignorant. But here's the thing, though. That's not going to happen because guess what? The ignorance of history is not a bug. It's a feature. The DeSantis administration has been trying to eliminate history and also eliminate any discussions about LGBTQ, about racism, getting rid of things that they consider to be critical race theory, which actually are not, because again, it's not taught in K through 12, but also actually going after the real critical race theory, which is college health course, trying to ban that too. Or actually, they did ban that. Look, overall though, getting back to Disney, the pastor's hateful and ignorant remarks are the reason that he was given this role. And also, to punish Disney. Now, I don't have any love for Disney, the corporation itself. And the reason, of course, is, well, labor. They routinely underpaid and mistreated employees. There were sweatshops that were operated overseas where they had employed child labor. Massive labor violations, places like China. But also they had labor violations domestically. Not only that, but Disney, one of the biggest companies that led a lobbying charge against passing laws that would allow for paid sick leave. So they would lobby Florida Republican politicians and say, we want you to fight against having workers get paid sick leave. And there's so much more. They have an abysmal corporate track record. But see, here's the thing, though. DeSantis never gave a damn about any of that. Never gave a damn about the millions of dollars in subsidies that Disney regularly received. The only time that DeSantis actually cared is when they actually spoke out against DeSantis's hateful culture war agenda. That's it. And by the way, Disney did not speak out against DeSantis for, out of the goodness of their own heart. No, we really care about the LGBTQ community. No, you don't. You really don't. It's rainbow capitalism. It's all about the monies. It's always been about the monies for these corporations. Now, here's the thing, though. Turns out these businesses have realized that it's not good for a business to alienate an entire community of people based on their, happen to be their sexual orientation. Turns out gay people have money, and gay people also like to spend money. And I would say that it spends just as well from a gay person as does anyone else. Disney has figured that out. So like, oh yeah, no, yeah, we actually support making money because we're a business. And DeSantis says, no, well, you can't do that. Not when I'm around. No, you have to support our massive culture war agenda and shutting down gay people. And so look, Ron DeSantis has been using his power to fight the culture wars. And Disney, he's just punishing his political opponent. Funny enough, Disney, before this, was massively on the Republican side. Disney had given $125,000 to the Republican Party of Florida and $65,000 to a committee that helps elect Republican state senators. That was in January of 2021. Now, they ended up pausing their donations over the Don't Say Gay bill. The backlash. But understand, like, this, the reason that DeSantis is punishing them now is because Disney paused the donations. That's the real problem, right? So DeSantis puts this guy, this bigot on the board to not only signal, to a virtue signal to, bigoted Republicans in his state, but also as just a way to try to punish the corporation, for actually doing smart capitalism and appealing to the LGBTQ community. That's all it is. To be fair, Ron DeSantis fucking over Disney was based just for the wrong reasons. Oh yeah, no, I'm not disagreeing with that at all. I actually agree with that. But yeah, it absolutely was for the wrong reasons. And as you noted, Disney, terrible terrible company. That list that I read out, that's not even the half of it, of the crap that Disney has done. But anyway, I digress. Let's move on. Let's go to Republicans not caring about children. Ooh. There's a reason we call bad companies Mickey Mouse operations. Yes. Yes. All right. Arkansas Republicans believe that children aren't old enough to make decisions about their gender, but do think that they're old enough to go to work in the mines. I'm not kidding. A bill seeking to change child labor laws has passed through the Arkansas government and has now landed on the desk of Republican Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders.
USA, USA, USA.
Child labor, everyone. USA. That bill, HB 1410, would allow children as young as 9 to be hired to work without a currently required employment certificate, which would be accessible to the Division of Labor and the Division of Elementary and Secondary Education or local school officials. Their certificate in question contains proof of the child's age, a description of the work and work schedule, and the written consent of a parent or guardian. So, let's get this straight. Grooming children, in their words, okay, this is their words, grooming children into homosexuality and transgenderism by just informing them that those things exist. Bad. Grooming children from an early age to be cogs in the capitalist machine, but disposable cogs, by the way, that's totally fine. We love that type of grooming. Oh, interesting. Interesting. So now the sponsor, or I believe it's sponsor, Republican Representative Rebecca Burks, as well as Senator Clint Penzo, say that they proposed this legislation so that they could remove any inconvenience that parents could face in seeking their employment certificate that would allow children to work. You know, because parents are really, really excited about, sending their children to work, but that dastardly government getting in the way, making them apply for a certification. Right. They said that by streamlining the hiring process for 16-year-olds, which they consider to be key to meeting nationwide labor shortages. Gee, I wonder whether they're targeting children. Oh, right, because they don't think that children are going to fight back for fair labor practices or unfair labor practices. And restoring, they also, because they could pay the children less. So, understand what they're doing, right? Oh, we have a labor shortage. No, it wasn't a labor shortage. It was people saying, we don't want to work for peanuts. We can't live on the stuff, on the amount of money that you are giving us. We cannot live on this. Their response is, well, we're not gonna, raise wages. No, we're just gonna try to get more children to work. That's what's gonna happen. Oh, okay, yeah. So now they also claim that this would restore decision making to parents concerning their children. But wait a minute, a child could get a job without the written consent of the parent, and that job could be doing whatever. So how does this restore decision making? It doesn't. By the way, Republicans have been pushing to making kids clean meatpacking plants. And by the way, there's also been an increase in migrant children ending up doing jobs in slaughterhouses across this country. So they can't wait to send children into slaughterhouses, meatpacking plants, or wherever wherever they can send them. It's amazing. They're obsessed with sending children back into the workplaces like they used to in the 1900s. And yet, at the same time, they're saying, oh, these children, they're just not old enough to make the decisions about, gender expression. Oh, and they're definitely not, old enough to understand any of this education. We want the parents to control their education so they don't learn about racism. We don't think they can handle it. But you can handle a work week. Maybe a 40-hour work week. There are no limits here. Obviously, these kids are old enough to be in dangerous and unsafe labor conditions. Look, in 2021, 3 teen workers died in the workplace. Following year, 16-year-old boy fell to his death while doing roof construction atop a hotel worksite in Tennessee. This is some examples. Not old enough to watch a drag show. Old enough to climb scaffolding for his employer. Republican priorities. Newsweek also reported that many Arkansas business leaders, as well as child rights advocates, are actually against this bill. They've criticized it as an attack on the progress made in recent decades in protecting children from being exploited at work. And they fear that the proposed legislation might expose them to long hours or dangerous conditions currently prohibited for children under the age of 14. Alexa Henning, spokesperson for Sarah Huckabee Sanders, though, said, as quoted by the Washington Press, the governor believes protecting kids is the most important, but doing so with arbitrary government burdens. Parents to get permission for the government for their child to get a job is burdensome and obsolete. Yes, rules, burdensome and obsolete. Rules meant to protect children from being, crushed by a press in the workplace. Or end up losing an arm in the slaughterhouse floor. Where they happen to jack up the speed of the machines, of the lines in the slaughterhouse. To increase productivity. Now, she also said that all child labor laws will still apply. And we expect the businesses to comply just as they are required to do now. Yes, because, the companies, they will regulate themselves and they will comply to these laws. And we just don't have to check on them because we trust them. It's the honor system. Obviously, we know you're not going to just fire all the adults and completely try to staff your entire company with children that you could pay a lot less. No, that would never happen. Except that it does. According to the U.S. Department of Labor, 2,819 minors were found employed in violation of law and assessed employers with nearly $3.4 million in civil money penalties in 2021. So instead of cracking down on the companies, they're just like, let's just deregulate. So that it's not illegal. So we can just, hire all the children, make them all work. And by the way, this bill passed along party lines. All the Democrats voted against it. Majority Republicans voted in favor of it, with the exception of 3 Republicans. And they said, well, this will help young people get off their phones. Those young people, they're always on their phones. They're doing the TikToks and they're doing all this stuff. And we, we want to send them to work. Because how dare they be children and have fun? No. We're going to send them to be productive for someone else, to make someone else more money, which happen to be our donors. Why does everything have to be productivity? Why can't people be people? Why does everyone have to have their life dedicated to be productive to a capitalist, to a wealthy CEO? That's insane. Can't children be children? Can't people be people? Can we not allow humans to, can we have a society where we are not thrown into the grinder? That we're not expected, to be thrown into the grinder to do the Sigma grind set, making all the money for somebody else. No, this is insane. Okay? Insane. By the way, even the Chamber of Commerce in Arkansas was like, whoa, this is a little too crazy. Why do we not do that, okay? In fact, here's Randy Zook, president and CEO of the Arkansas State Chamber of Commerce. This is a corporate group. This is a business group. The biggest lobbyists in Arkansas for business, okay? Which includes the Associated Industries of Arkansas. Here's what he told the Arkansas Business. He fears that sending the children to work to get, so-called work ethics would come at a cost. He says that, I really don't want them to be prioritizing going to work over getting an education. He says their job should be thinking about graduating high school and not putting in hours at the factory or the job site. I actually agree with this guy. Look, getting an education is kind of a full-time job anyway, when you think about it. Yes, you should be prioritizing allowing the children to get an education, but also you should prioritize children being allowed to be children and not being bogged down with seemingly adult responsibilities, especially adult responsibilities like going to work. They should be able to grow, learn, play. That's the thing that children should be able to do. Now, one last thing. Do you think that, in the Republican plan for bringing back child labor, that it's going to be rich kids getting a lesson and getting a work ethic lesson by going into the workplace alongside the poor kids? No, that's never going to happen. You know that. No, this is for the poors. This is for them dirty poors. You see, you get back in the mines. And you better not get any funny ideas like workers' rights, high wages, or anything like that. No, we're going to send you in the workplace early so that you get groomed into the corporate culture. You get groomed to be a good little worker, a good little wage slave. And you make the CEO, you make our company as much money as possible while we give you as little as possible. That's the plan. That's what they want. You better not demand better. No, we're gonna get to you before you can get those funny little ideas in your head. From the social medias, from the TikToks, and the Facebook. Kids aren't on Facebook. Once again, these Republicans do not care about the children. The only thing they care about, really, other than the money, I guess, is to take society back to the 1900s. That's it. Arkansas is a big Tyson chicken plant area. Again, not surprising. So, yeah, having the kids working, cleaning the slaughterhouses. By the way, this also tracks with a lot of Republican efforts in states to have the children with lunch debt be janitors. You're setting them up for this kind of rollback of child labor laws. Again, have them clean the floors in the schools for lunch money, and then allow them to go work in the factory. It'll be a seamless transition. Sick what they want to do. That's sick. All right. One last quick story. And again, this is about Republican efforts to do horrifying things. Of course. It seems to be a theme here. Very strange. Very strange. A proposed state law in Texas would force the internet service providers, to censor any website that they don't like, specifically dealing, in this case, with abortion. Now, the bill was proposed by Representative Steve Toth, and it would basically block websites containing any information on how to get abortions or abortion pills. So now, the bill says that each internet service provider that provides internet services in the state shall make every reasonable and technologically feasible effort to block or censor internet access to information or material intended to assist or facilitate efforts to obtain an elective abortion or an abortion-inducing drugs. This would also apply, by the way, to people who obtain these drugs out of state, if you're a Texas resident. So yeah. Now, the bill lists 6 websites that would be blocked, that would be forced by ISPs to block. aidaccess.org, heyjane.co, plancpills.org, my choice, but with an X at the end instead of a CE, justthepill.com, and carafem.org with a C. Yeah, so now, this would also force ISPs to block any website or online platform operated by or on behalf of an abortion provider or abortion fund, any website or platform used to download software designed to assist or facilitate efforts to get an abortion, and force ISPs to block any website or platform that allows or enables those who provide or aid or abet elective abortions, or those who manufacture, mail, distribute, transport, or provide abortion-inducing drugs, collect money, digital currency, resources, or anything of value. So again, this is a massive ban on freedom and huge censorship. This is censorship. That's what it is. Individuals in Texas would also be prohibited from making or hosting a website or platform that assists, like even giving people information, or facilitates a person's effort in obtaining an abortion-inducing drug. Enforcement would be reliant, of course, on Texas's like bounty law. So basically, individuals would be able to sue facilitators, not women seeking the abortion. They would not be criminalized, but they would instead, any Texas resident would be allowed to sue any website that facilitates or distributes this drug. Yeah. Also, individuals would be reliant enforcement would rely on individuals to report to the government, report to the ISPs any of these websites so that they could promptly block them. Now, this would involve any interactive computer service that provides information or material that assists or facilitates efforts to obtain elective abortions or abortion-inducing drugs. Would also establish civil liability for distribution of drugs, again, outside of Texas borders. So, now that this bill, so these ISPs would also be given special liability through this legislation. So they would have a liability shield that could act as an incentive to block websites that may be conceivably sort of related to, the facilitation of information about abortion or abortion-seeking drugs, right? And so basically, it would encourage ISPs to be even more censors. They would censor more websites just to be on the side of safety. The bill says that ISPs would have absolute non-waivable immunity from liability or suit for any action taken to comply with the requirements of the subchapter or to restrict access to or availability of the information or material described. ISPs that qualify for the immunity would also even be able to recover financial damages from people who sue them. So again, this would massively protect these ISPs as long as they enforce censorship on the people of Texas. Wow. It would also encourage ISPs to cut off broadband service from people who aim to spread information about abortion and be given immunity from liability. So this is what they're doing in Texas. They're just cutting off all information. All information about abortion, getting an abortion, pill access, everything. Censor anything that we don't like. Just censor it. Even if you're in another state, we don't care. If you're a Texas citizen, we own you. We own your body. We own everything about you. So don't you even dare to try to exercise any bodily autonomy outside of the state of Texas. You certainly can't do it inside of the state of Texas. But even if you go outside of our borders, well, you still are subject to the whims of us, our lawmakers, and our rules. And we're going to force the internet, again, to make sure that you can't access any of this information. And we're going to use thugs to do it. We're going to turn average citizens against each other and have them report on you and allow them to sue you or anyone else related to this. It's disgusting. Disgusting. So now, one thing could have blocked this. You want to know what that is? Net neutrality. So net neutrality was eliminated by Ajit Pai during the Trump administration. Now, net neutrality rules basically just ensured that, hey, all content is treated equally on the internet by ISPs. They can't discriminate. So that had the effect of making the internet what it is and allowing for everyone's content to be treated equally and to not be blocked and censored like what we're seeing Texas trying to do. Why do you think Republicans pushed so hard on limiting something that actually encouraged freedom of information across the internet? Well, it's so they can do things like this. It's so they can shut down and censor content that they don't agree with. Now, all the things they say about, it's the left that's trying to shut us down, it's trying to censor us, all projection. It's always been projection. They're always the more censorious of any side. Banning books, burning books, banning information, banning platforms like TikTok. That's what they're trying to do, to restrict any and all information, because if you get information, then you will do things possibly that they don't like or agree with. They're trying to run your lives. That's what their whole social movement is about, to run your life, to take over and control the most intimate decisions that you could possibly make. And it's not because they care about children or lives. No. You could only look at the response to what happened in Uvalde by the politicians there, by Greg Abbott. You know they don't care about children. They're gunned down in a school. They don't give a damn. The only thing that they care about is controlling women's bodies, controlling you and your decisions. That's what it's always been about. All right. So, with that, that's all I got for you. Yeah, I know, ending on a downer. Poor note. But hey, such is the world. Disastrous for freedom and bodily autonomy. But somebody's got to bring you the information, tell you what's going on, because, you know, you might not hear it anywhere else, especially if you listen to right-wing media. Okay, so with that, thank you all. Please like and share the stream. Very important that you do so. I'm gonna read some super chats. We'll go back here. Jonathan Leiter says, gifted Waldorf Nation membership over on YouTube. Thank you. Jetty Dragon Protector. Thank you for being a member of 39 months. Just said Rotunda. Okay. Yes, the capital Rotunda. Thank you. That was the word that I was looking for. My brain. Sometimes, sometimes just can't find the word.
I know words. I have the best words.
No, not in this case. Not in this case. All right. Jedi Dragon Protector also says, and thank you for the very kind $5 super chat. All the 45's offspring are raised as grifting, greedy tax cheats. They need to serve time. Gabby Mathis, thank you for the very kind membership, gifting a membership. Jonathan Leiter says, as a member, this is how it starts. Water is doomed to become a commodity rather than a human right. Water is a human right. To that I say, yeah. All right, I love that sound clip, by the way. But yes, I love what you're saying, 100%. And then finally, no, not finally. Jup James says, can't the priest pray the gay water into holy water? Interesting. Very, very interesting. I didn't even think about that. Yes, just pray it into holy water. That's how it works, right? Like, I don't know how their magical incantations are supposed to work with that whole thing. I mean, maybe it takes extra effort. I don't know. I'm not entirely sure. Who knows? Certainly, not myself. Me being the heathen that I am.
Get in a long tube with a bunch of demons.
Yeah, because that's what I do all the time. In the tube with the demons. And finally, Monty Darno says, I'm sorry, yes, was gifted a membership and hold.
Disappointed!
Also, where is it? Oh, I know where it is.
Obama.
Okay. All right. I've got so many sound clips everywhere. Just everywhere. Okay. Anyway, the soundboard is soundboard's a little full. There's a lot in here. There's a lot. You could even call them dumps.
Dumps. They call them dumps. Big, massive dumps.
Or maybe not. I don't know. Okay, so that's it. Yeah, buttons. A lot of buttons. There's so many buttons here, which leads to a lot of...
There's insanity in the control room.
A lot of insanity. And I still don't have enough. I need more. I need more sound clips. More funny ones. Okay. Anyway, with that little distraction, me getting distracted and all, I should probably wrap up the show. So, again, like and share. Thank you for the super chats. Thank you for all the stuff. I didn't even read over here on Twitch. Penniless Dragon, thank you for subbing for a month to tier 1 over on Twitch. Okay. Speaking of Twitch, we're gonna raid. We're actually gonna do James from the Internet. Haven't done James from the Internet raid in a while, so we'll do that. YouTube. Thank you all, and everybody. YouTube, Facebook, Twitch. Love you all. Thank you, and we'll see you tomorrow. Love you, and remember, change begins with you.
Beta man.
Sharp, NATO, except for not a salami sandwich.
Peachtree dish. Nancy Pelosi's gazpacho, please.
You're kicking me out the door. You're kicking me out the door.
Up yours, woke moralists. We'll see who cancels who.